Welcome to the O'Malley podcast show. What we will talk about, no one will know. So sit down and relax and learn some awesome facts. It's the Talk to O'Malley podcast show. With me. So welcome back to the Talk to O'Malley podcast. Today we're here with Jodi Fair from the Solent Growth Partnership as a late stand-in and a lifesaver. So thank you, Jodi.
No worries.
So yeah, today I thought I literally know nothing about really what Solent Growth Partnership do and what you do within the partnership. We've obviously met a few times at networking.
We have.
Because I am a terrible serial networker, as everybody sees and comments. And then you also commented on my shoes, didn't you? Which
I did. I love. Yeah, no.
I know, but
you should show the camera your shoes.
I'll show them afterwards. I'll show them afterwards. Okay. And but yeah, I mean that's why, and hopefully that's why people remember me. I mean, we were talking to Maz earlier, and I said,
we were.
And she came up. The first thing she said to me was, "You look interesting. Can I talk to you?"
That is Maz all over.
And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. So yeah, no, I appreciate your comment and feedback. But this podcast is all about, you know, you and showing off what you can do for local businesses in the area. So like, imagine, like, I know nothing about Solent Growth Partnership. Like I said, other than you exist. I do listen, but there's so much information goes in as a small business owner that we just think, am I going to remember what there is to offer? Am I going to remember at the right time? And what's important, to me, 90% of the time, I want to sit and make some money and make an impact in my area. But yeah, sometimes you have to sit back and listen and actually take it in sometimes. I know we obviously spoke to Beverly Poole previously, so I know she does a little bit of work. Beverly. Yeah, and she does a little bit of work with you.
She does.
And we all know what Beverly Poole does. Well, this is the question we had this morning. Do we know what she actually does?
She does so much, I think. That's the thing with Beverly. You see her everywhere doing so many different things. But fundamentally, it's that golden thread running through, isn't it? It's like she supports businesses.
Yeah, ultimately. And I said to her this morning, like, as a business coach or mentor, the market is saturated with business coaches and mentors. And you think, I know you're trying to share your experience, but monetizing it to a point where you're getting to there, I think, how can you? People are for people, but who do you trust? Who do you want to use?
Yeah.
When there are other services, which I gather from bits of what you do at the Growth Partnership, that's what you can do to a certain extent.
So we're a partnership between Portsmouth City Council, Southampton City Council and Isle of Wight Council. So the three upper tier local authorities in our area. And essentially we're here to support business. Now that can be anything from very early startups right the way through to those that are a decent size and want to grow or want to scale up. And that's in a variety of ways, everything from skills support, so apprenticeships, levy transfer, skills boot camps, T-levels, the whole skills piece, right the way through to specific programs or one-to-one business advice. All free of charge, all funded by UK PLC. And essentially the aim, what we're here to do is to support businesses to grow. And that's it. That's it. It's no more complicated than that.
No. I mean, I met Beverly through Havant Borough Growth Partnership. Yeah. Which for me was totally invaluable. And I initially went in because I thought, people on director level who I can sell to.
Right.
And that sounds like terrible, but we all go in with that same thing. But I didn't actually come out with that. I came out with actually a lot of experience and knowledge and
so much
talking
more.
So much more. And it's nice. And I've seen that there's another cohort now, which is interesting for Havant. I haven't seen it anywhere else. But I mean, are there others?
Oh yeah, there's lots of others. There's different, like each local authority, borough or district will have some sort of business support. The difference is the type and the availability. So the sort of stuff we offer covers the three areas, but invariably, we are three upper tier local authorities, 3 areas, 3 cities or Isle of Wight County. that have a pull from outside. So, you're just as likely to see someone from Fareham Gosport Haven at one of our events or one of our programs. It's not about being exclusive, it's about being inclusive as well. And that's
and I think it's the whole collaboration thing. And Beverly said, it's about collaborate to get better, or to use a BNI phrase, give us gain.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit like that, and I'm not BNI, but not that just like BNI, just for the camera. But it has its place, like every part of business. But what is, if you were profile, who would approach you? So
do you know what? We literally work with someone. An example this week, someone's got an idea. That is as early stage as it is. They've got an idea. So we can support them with, we've got part of our business is the, why do it literally, as soon as I go to say it, I'd speak in acronyms, the BIPC, which is the Business and IP Centre based in Southampton Central Library.
Which I did need to go and see a little while back. I didn't go in the end because I just thought it's not worth fighting, because I had a cease and desist letter from a company about the use of my...
Yes.
Because I used to be a different name, didn't I?
Yes, I do remember.
Even though, because my name's Tom, obviously.
It is Tom.
And I can use my name, but I can't put it on a branding. But hey, we've got a new one, so it's fine.
And it's super funky.
I know, but I probably could have used the IP people to talk to.
100%. And the Business and IP Centre is for those very early startups. So there's a lot of resource there around market research, around access to an IP lawyer. So you get a free session with an IP lawyer. There's works from the British standards, so you can check what patents there are and what there aren't. There's things around, if you're setting up a dog grooming business, these are the things you need to think of. Also support with business planning and things like that. So that's from your very, very early stage. And then we go right the way through to the other end. We've got a large employers network, which is really focused on skills, because often we find in the largest of employers, there is one person looking after skills, and that can be really isolating because the skills world changes at such a pace that if you're that one person in that organisation that's responsible for that, you can find yourself super isolated, not learning any best practice. And what we want is that best practice to start in our big employers so that it then can filter down into their supply chains and onwards that way. So we have twice a year a large employers meeting. So we support literally, I use the phrase cradle to grave, and I obviously don't mean that, but from the smallest to the biggest.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, how do you think there's a bit of a gap in terms of people knowing you exist?
Yes.
And knowing what's actually available? Because I do B2B, so I am literally in businesses every day talking to people, and for the same with me, I'm on my own, but I wouldn't know. I'd be thinking, how do I skill up? How do I take on another advisor? How do I take on someone to do my admin? It scares me, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, I get that.
And I think a lot of it is probably on fear. But what do you do as a group to essentially promote that?
Yeah.
Because I see in certain areas, but are you hanging out? How would someone like me find out where you were or that you existed?
Yeah, there's so many different ways. We are trying to do more outward facing stuff. We're trying to do more comms, more marketing, so that businesses are learning who we are and what we do. The other thing that we're trying to do is to simplify that sort of business support landscape. There's sometimes the amount of offer I think is overwhelming, and it turns you off a little bit.
I think people get afraid. No, I think people get afraid of government funded or local government funded things and thinking, am I going to qualify, or what do I have to do, or is there this? Yeah. And really, from my experience, there was very little.
Yeah, and we're really nice. We're not all stuffy suits.
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, those who know you and know Maz, know,
quite far from that.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And some of the stories you were telling me before we went live. And I say live, this is totally recorded, but we won't share them here.
Good.
But if you want to know, just ask me when I'm out networking, and I might tell you. But yeah, just be careful when you're going through Victoria Park in Portsmouth. And,
the worst thing is now, the people I've told now know I've told you.
That's good. That's fine. We'll use this on some of the clips to lure people in to come and watch us talking.
What happens in Victoria Park?
I hope it was daytime. That's all I'm going to say. But I mean, you know, in terms of like us like I said, it's all about us finding you. We don't know. Like, I mean, I've come into business on my own about a year ago, just over a year ago, and I didn't really have any clue what I was doing, where I was going to get my leads from. I knew the job inside out, and I knew a certain idea of how to do it. But I mean, I only look at my industry. I don't look at any other industries really. But you know, in insurance, it's, you know, we find clients to sell to ultimately who need our services. But I guess that's the same in any other business. But I mean, from your experience, what advice would you give a startup who's thinking about going out on their own and doesn't have you can tell they've got a head on their shoulders.
Yeah.
I like to think I've got a decent head on my shoulders, but I mean, I could be wrong. I could be setting myself up for a massive fall. But what advice would you give them?
I think it's about reaching out. I am a small business owner myself. I run a small business for about 8 years, which unfortunately closed in COVID. And when I started out, the thing that I was super aware of is that there was no one that I could see that looked like me that was starting a business. I just had my little boy. I had been made redundant from a previous job, and I didn't know.
It's a familiar story though, right?
Yeah, it's not unusual. There's loads of people that
exactly.
you know are in that situation, and I had a decent amount of redundancy money, and I knew whilst I got another job and I was working, I knew that I just didn't want that redundancy money to sit there and me spend it on shoes and handbags and things like that.
Shoes and handbags, is that?
It's
what people do.
Thing. I mean, that's what I would have done.
Married, I know what people do. I'm just as bad though, to be honest with you.
Yeah, who doesn't love a pair of shoes?
I know, and the good thing about shoes is they always fit, right?
Don't matter how much weight you put on,
right?
My shoes
Shoes,
still fit.
bags, hats, glasses, they always look all right. Don't matter how fat I get.
Absolutely agreed.
I know, right? So,
but yeah, when I was starting out, I just didn't. You know, there was offers out there, but none of them felt like it was for me. And I don't know if this is a thing or if it's just a me thing, but I sort of lived in fear that someone was going to come and tap me on the shoulder and go, "You're doing this all wrong. You haven't done X, Y, and Z. You haven't got this piece of paper. You haven't got that." I lived in fear that someone was going to do that.
What were you doing?
So I had a role play centre in the middle of Portsmouth. So it was children, which just makes it so much worse. But yeah.
Okay. Role playing, okay.
Yeah, no, not that sort of role play, Tom. No, not that sort of role play.
But there is love places like that in Portsmouth.
I mean, I don't know about those, obviously, because I am a sweet, innocent person.
I know nothing about those. But so how? Yeah, and what were people? What was your probably your fears were the same as everyone else's?
Of course. And I felt like I wanted. I didn't identify with the term mentor or coach. I just wanted someone that was qualified, like a business friend. And that's what I think we do. We are trying to be super inclusive. As I said, size, sector, we don't care how big you are. We don't care where you've come from. None of that matters. What we're trying to do is put the right support in to support you in your journey. And that could be from your kitchen table to a market stall. It could be from a market stall back to your kitchen table. You know, there is no preconceptions of what's right or wrong. And I think probably the most important thing is every single bit of the support we provide is absolutely free of charge. So we're not going to ask your inside leg measurement. I don't want to know about your tax code. I have no interest in that.
I think for me, it's sometimes just dispelling that myth for other people and for myself, because like it's the same, like people don't approach me for life insurance. I swear some people just think we want to know the ins and outs of everything, and we really don't. Like, we just want to get to the facts so I can help you. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like
No judgments.
no judgment. No, exactly. You know, I just want to. I mean, I might judge them a little bit. No, I don't. But like, but you're just
A little bit.
only a little bit, only a little tiny bit, and thinking, oh, wish I had that. And but you're thinking, and it is dispelling that myth from people. And I think people just have that inherent worry that they're going to get judged.
Yes, absolutely.
I do massively.
And that we're going to want to know your accounts. We're going to want to know where you've got the money from. Like, oh, genuinely, I can't tell you. And even though everything I done was legit, I had this internal fear.
I know
that someone was going to come and call me out.
I know. Like, I was considering putting in an application for some funding, but then like through Havant Borough Council, and they went, like start up. But because I have my own limited company, but then I also I work as from a trading style from someone else's firm.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, oh God, it gets complicated and muddy, and I don't want to have to explain it all the time. So you just pick the other option when you're actually probably, if I spoke to you, you probably just go, let me fill it out with you.
Yeah, it's fine.
Let's get it sorted. Let's get it all, done and signed off, and you really won't have to worry. But like from, and I don't know whether I might be on my own in this, but I don't think I am. And I don't think I'm in the minority where people have that innate fear of the unknown, or there's that bit. And I think quite often, sometimes you see somewhat greedy, or people who are just trying to take. I don't know, do people like that approach Solent Growth Partnership?
Look, there are always people at different stages in their journey, and they're all like, I think in anything you go into, there's always people that know how to play a game, and that's a thing. And I don't think that changes wherever you go. But I think there's also that misconception. Yeah, we work on behalf of local authorities. Yes, I am physically based in the Civic Centre in Portsmouth, but we are not there to judge you. We're not there to look at your finances. We're not there to worry about what point of the journey you are on. We're just there to support.
No, and 9 times out is probably, even if you thought that, you probably want to just ignore it because it's more paperwork, right? And I feel exactly the same way sometimes.
No one needs paperwork.
We just stick in our own jurisdiction. I think that's a worry for people. That is it. I mean, I have countless sleepless nights where I'm thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? But I just want, for this, I really want to put people's minds at ease so they can come 100%. To you and go from there. Are there any other services in Portsmouth that you would also recommend outside? Oh,
100%. We've got and not only in Portsmouth, in Southampton as well, and over on the island. We are trying to bring together this in a bit more of a coherent manner, so there is not perhaps as many services out there. So in the next couple of months, we'll be merging with Solent Business and Skills Solutions, so that comes in. So again, we've got that one offer across the piece and one front door, which I think is really important. But if you come to us, you could find yourself referred into Shaping Portsmouth's mentor program, for example, or through to Joe and Kim if you've got a business rates query.
And I see Shaping Portsmouth, and you see it, you know it exists. Do I know what they do? Not really.
No.
And because you hear it, and again, it comes down to branding and what everything sits. You think Shaping Portsmouth is going to be a bit like, I'm not. It's not that I don't want to get involved in my community, etc. But like, I haven't got the time.
No.
At certain points, there's certain bits I will do for community. And exactly. We've got this podcast party which we're bringing people together so they can all meet each other. And I like collaboration.
Of course.
And I think we met through one of the nicest. We met recently at one of the nicest communities, didn't we? With Jodi.
Yeah, with the lovely Jodi.
The other Jodi.
The other Jodi.
The other Jodi. The slightly more
the
famous.
Younger one, you can say that.
I was going to say slightly more famous. I wasn't
all
thinking
that.
I think she's in
she's definitely younger than me. We've
30s.
had the conversation.
I know she's younger than you, but I'm trying to insinuate that she's not. She's slightly older, and you just dropped your foot in it and ruined it. But it's fine. Sorry, Jodi. The other Jodi. But yeah, I know, and that's a nice community. And I think what I like about I worked in an office for 10 years for other people.
Yeah.
And you always sort of sit in the background, and I always felt like I was dying in the corner, to be honest with you. Like, I'd tell a joke and it would just get, you'd see the tumbleweeds, and I would feel like I was undervalued, underappreciated for what I was doing, and my skill set wasn't being used to the best of its ability. Is that something that you encourage quite heavily in?
Yeah, look, there is, if you've got an idea, like we would always say, if you've got an idea, come and speak to someone, because especially, I've used the BIPC once already, but especially the BIPC, because they can actually either say to you, yeah, look, we've done there's the market research database. Look, there's only 3 other businesses like that in our area. That, they can give you some of that encouragement, and it's all one-to-one advice over there. So you get some really high quality advice, and the databases you've got access to are like 20, 30k each. You'd never be able to do it on your own. Yeah,
exactly. And then for employers, what do you think? Because I had to do a talk the other week at So Grow.
Okay, yeah.
At their VIP dinner.
Love that.
Which I got volunteered for that, and I'm like, okay, and I spoke about my background and where I've come from and what made me go out on my own, which was mainly because my boss was a dick.
Fair.
To be honest with you, and I've been made redundant previously. Yeah, no, he was, and I didn't really enjoy the conversations that was happening all the time. And I felt like I was lying and dying in the thing. Now I went out on my own. I didn't have a clue, and I've sort of grown this brand, put myself out there and put myself out of my comfort zone. But I look back and say, and I've seen this, and I think they could have used my skills to their own advantage. So, do employers, in your experience, come to Solent Growth Partnership and have a chat about their internal skill set and what people are there?
Oh God, yeah. So we deal with all different types of skills queries. So it can be employers talking about their own workforce, and there is a surprising amount, again, of fully funded training that you can access for your workforce. And it could be that if we're coming to your old job, spoken to your managers, it's about finding what's right for the business and what are the pain points, because people, and this sounds harsh, but often there's got to be either a pain point or something they need a solution for them to look more laterally and think about, right, how can I develop my stuff? For example, AI is a really good example. We know that that's going to change the world of work in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to happen. We know that, if it's not already.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to replace a human role.
No, nor do I. I'm absolutely with you. But probably how we work will be different.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you'll be much more productive.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't think it'll mean less jobs. I think it'll actually mean more jobs, if anything.
Absolutely.
Because you're creating opportunities that are more going to be exploited and more likely to be more profitable in that vein. So I've quite often you would see, like, in terms of growth, you'd think of an idea and then you'd go look at the man hours involved in making that work, and you go, it's not viable. Whereas if you got the help from AI, like me, I sat and wrote loads of questions on AI. Well, I didn't, and it took me like 5 minutes. Whereas if I was to think about that, that's an hour. I would put it off and I'd forget about it. I just wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So it has made my life easier.
Oh, I think it's made all of our lives easier.
Would have I employed someone to do it anyway? No, I probably wouldn't have done, because it's not so. No one's losing a job. No one's gaining a job. There's no loss whatsoever.
But what you might find is, in a business, they're going, oh, like, this is something that we need to be aware of. They might upskill a member of their staff around AI so that they can put those processes and procedures in place, and we can help them identify the right course at the right time and all of that good stuff. Or whether it's a short course. And one of the other things that Solent Growth Partnership do is we've got formal sessions, actually, of a 4-hour training course for businesses around AI, about using it responsibly and ethically. I can't say that word.
Ethically.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Ethically. But also how to do it really smartly as well. So you're getting, rather than it taking you an hour to get that result out that you want, it's taking you much less time because you've prompted like a pro.
I quite like having a conversation with AI, though.
I mean, you do you. I'm not judging.
I like having that conversation and then go, no, that's not what I meant. And you can be as rude as you want.
You can.
Sometimes.
It's
Not
not
that I do it
human.
deliberately. No, it's not human. No, I know it's not. And sometimes you want to take your frustration out on that. I don't. I really don't.
If you need to, Tom, that is probably a safe space to do it.
It probably is a safe space to do it. I do often wonder, like, who's going to read it though at some point.
Oh,
probably no one.
100%. As soon as you put something in that, you know it's into these big.
I know, and then it'll be on my
things.
Facebook. But I mean, I guess, like, from my side, like, from being, like, I feel quite strongly about it, like, from being not overlooked, because I probably didn't put my head above the parapet. But I think there's a lot of people, and I notice a trend in entrepreneurs and people who are starting their own businesses where, like, for me, it was a fear factor of wanting to go out on my own. But would I have done it for someone else? Yeah, damn right, I probably would have. Yeah, because there's no risk to me particularly. They're taking all the risk. And I understand that certain things are risky.
Yeah,
you know, like,
of course.
But in this day and age where we've got creators, TikTok, we've got Instagram, we've got social media is basically
It's
king.
a thing.
It's king for everything,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is.
And I remember when I worked in a mortgage firm about 5 years ago, and I approached the subject of doing what I do now, which is business protection. So life insurance, income protection for businesses, right? Didn't really have a clue about it. I knew a reasonable amount about it. Saw a big gap. Thought, yeah, we could look at that. And I said to them about doing TikToks for mortgages and doing this and getting themselves and just starting somewhere. I felt like it was falling on deaf ears, and how do you say to a young or an old person? I mean, I'm 43, and I'd think sometimes, am I too old to be doing this? I just want to be getting on with my. But what advice would you give to, like, someone in that situation who's feeling undervalued in a role, but wants to stay in their thing? How do they speak up? Because I never felt if I had a voice. I mean, I don't think I'm neurodiverse or particularly, like, difficult. I don't think I'm difficult. I think sometimes I'm quite. I think my perception. I've spoken about this on every single podcast. Is that I think the perception that I have of myself is slightly different to what they see, and they see a lazy, slightly risky, walking the line of like, is he gonna say something that's going to incriminate us or leave us in a situation? Whereas I think, now you've got to push the line a little bit and test the line. Would you? I mean, it's a loaded question, really. Would you encourage employers to seek out that in people, seek out that bit, and see where that goes?
I'm going to answer this in a really weird way, but we'll double back to your question.
Yeah.
I watched something on LinkedIn. It was a TikTok, but it was on LinkedIn, and it was the co-op and about a co-op sign. And it was a whole little saga about how they weren't going to let Audi get the co-op sign. It was tongue in cheek. And this was corporate co-op doing this. And I think that says a lot about how the world is changing. I think we don't want, I was going to say something. I'm going to say it anyway.
Say it.
We don't want stale, mow and pout all of the time. We don't want people in grey suits.
No.
We want people. We want
Well, you look at Aldi and Marks and Spencer's.
Oh, the Colin the Caterpillar, 1010,
exactly.
All of that content. So I think we are really moving away from what is seen probably previously as very corporate industries.
And safe. People play it safe, don't they?
Safe. Let's push those boundaries.
I saw that business I was working for nearly go under because of not being ahead of the trend. And I'm thinking to myself, I've given you the hints, I've given you the little bits to talk about, and now I've walked back in there a couple of times, and they probably will see that at some point. But it's not me sounding arrogant or horrible about it. I think actually you could have had so much of an opportunity. And when I look at what I've built in 6-7 months,
exactly.
And it sort of frustrates me a little bit. And it's not that I because I think I'm quite a humble person.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes you have to shout about what you're good at and what you...
If you don't, no one else will.
No, exactly. I know, right? And it's... you have to recognise the good in it. But I think it's so frustrating to see things like that. I mean, like personally, I would love to get involved in like that part of it where you're going out and you're talking to employers, and that's the what message that I was trying to bring home at SoGrow,
Yeah.
and say, don't ignore the weirdo in the corner who's
No.
got a sense of humour, because you need
Give
you
them
need them. Give them an opportunity. Yeah.
Give them, and I think, do you know what? Going back to probably what is the thing I'm most passionate about, which is apprenticeships. I was an apprentice. I know what it does.
Exactly. Yeah.
But, you know, the apprenticeship program's changed so much in the last few years. You can be any age. It's level 2 to level 6. You know, there is so many opportunities to do the apprenticeship route. Rather than someone that you're like going, are they a risk? Are they not? Do you know what? Put a bit of investment in.
Yeah.
And see what you get out the other end. Because I can almost guarantee if someone is thinking about, you know, leaving, changing roles, but you think they've got some sort of innate talent, there's something there, that little diamond in the rough sort of thing.
I am a sucker for looking for a diamond in the rough.
Oh, I love a
but
diamond
then I know
in
from
the rough.
but I know from dating, sometimes you're looking for a diamond in the rough.
Don't always work.
In your back garden, and sometimes it don't exist. You're looking in the wrong place.
You've got to kiss a few frogs before you find
I know, but then I
prince.
did find someone who's lovely and wonderful and has encouraged me to do a lot more stuff. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now without a say so.
Exactly.
To diss my ex-wife, but I mean, we get on really well, and our family's very well cohesive, and I'll come on to it in a second. That's the reason why I'm talking about it. But you know, I wouldn't have taken these risks 5 years ago, probably 10 years ago. And
I think there's a lot of time in life thing though as well. I think you have, like, not with the apprenticeship thing, that's any age, but I think as a human being, you get to a point in your life, and I don't know if that's like mid-30s, when you're old enough to have a bit of life experience, but you're still young enough to go, do you know what? This ain't me forever. I want to break out a bit.
What did you want to be when you were 15?
I wanted to be a lawyer.
Did you?
Yeah. I wasn't brainy enough for a lawyer, but that's what I wanted to be.
You don't strike me as a bit of a horrible, nasty person.
Yeah, no.
But
do you know what? It was an English teacher.
Why would you want to be a lawyer? What kind of law?
So I'm trying to remember furiously. We've done
defence or prosecution?
Oh wow. Do you know what?
Or
I
divorce?
don't know. No, definitely not divorce. Criminal. If I'm going to do it, I want to do it properly. I just want to do criminal. Yeah.
But what stopped you? Other than brains, by your own admission, not mine.
Yeah, no, fair. I'm from working class family. No one in my family had ever been to university. It was not an option for me.
Do you think that is still an issue for a lot of people?
1,000,000%.
And if you could wave a magic wand, and solve that problem, what would you do to do that? What would be the magic wand spell?
Do you know what? I've lived
in a Harry Potter style.
I channel Hermione, and I don't think university's right for everyone. And in hindsight, it wouldn't have been the right place for me. I wouldn't have thrived there, and I know that now.
I would have quit.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have done the work, or I would have put it in at the last minute because I was lazy.
Yeah, and I wanted to have fun.
I don't think I necessarily wanted to have fun. I just got used to the money. I took a year out because I was scared.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then worked in retail for like 15 years and sales. And then I carried on like any normal person. But like I felt like a little part of me was dying. Probably it's the same as you. But it seems like you're quite happy in this role now because you're probably helping people. And
yeah. Do you know what? I was so lucky, Tom. I hated college. I lasted 6 weeks in college. I was like, yeah, no, not for me. I've done school and I'm done. I need a job. And I was lucky enough to get an apprenticeship. And it was literally an advert in my local paper that I answered. Admin. And then I went travelling after I'd finished my apprenticeship and come back, and there was an advert again, and I had to sign on for the first time, which I was not happy about. But there was an advert in the job centre for what was then Hampshire Training Enterprise Council. And I started out as their admin girl and worked my way up over 15 years to be the Director of Employer Contracts for the National Apprenticeship Service. So that was just through work.
So that is totally your background. And
totally my background.
Yeah. And
literally
it fits.
Lived and breathed it.
And do you think people appreciate the fact that you've gone through it? And
I think it just gives you, what's the right words I'm looking for? Like it gives you that authenticity that, you're real. Yeah.
And how has it changed over the last 20 years?
Yeah. them number of years. It's changed a lot. But I think it's open to more people than it was. It's got more flexibility. There's more levels.
So is an apprenticeship open to like 99% of businesses, do you reckon?
99%, yeah, absolutely. 99% of businesses. But equally, you know, we were having a conversation before we come on air that sometimes that's quite difficult because it does involve the payment of a salary to that individual.
Yeah.
There are so many other options if you're not at that point yet for your business. There's work placements, there's T-level, industrial placements. You know, that's not the right answer for everyone and everybody.
Yeah, it's not to look at it as free labour, but it is to look at it as upskilling.
And like,
and
I'll
an
be
investment
really honest,
into a decent.
we've just taken on 2 new apprentices ourselves. They're both very young, both their first proper job. And it takes some work, but we're 6 weeks in and already I can see that they are adding value to our workplace. So it's not like I'm sitting here going, oh, yeah, it's 6 months down the line and they're adding. It's 6 weeks in and they are doing stuff that means someone else doesn't have to do it, and they're doing it effectively and efficiently. Like, I really believe that we need to practice what we preach. We've had 2 people go on skills boot camps this year.
It's almost impossible though, isn't it? Like, I was having this conversation earlier.
What, practicing what you preach?
Yeah.
Why?
Because like you always get so wrapped up in dealing with everyone else's that you don't deal with your own.
Oh, yeah, but is that an excuse?
Probably a little bit, but
yeah, I think it goes back to the fear.
Yeah, again, it does. And then sometimes we leave it too late. Like, I mean, you'll see from the last podcast we did. But
okay.
I was just going to say, what I was trying to lead on to earlier was like my son, right? So he's 15 now,
Yep.
in year 11,
Yep.
looking to. He don't know what he wants to do. He's very
Yes, he
much
don't.
like me
He's
when I was
15.
15. Yeah, exactly. When I was 15, I wanted to be a chef.
Yeah.
And I still blame my mum to this day that she said, you're too smart, you need to go into A-levels. And yeah, she probably was right.
Yeah.
But was it my calling? Was it what I wanted to do? I ended up doing French and Spanish and media studies. What the hell am I going to use French and Spanish for? No, everyone speaks English. But they do, 90%. They do.
So
You
true.
don't really need to. So, like, but my son...
CV.
It looks all right on my CV. I can't even remember the last time I used a CV.
Are you still
to be honest
fluent?
with you. No, and I was never fluent anyway. Spanish, I'm okay. Spanish, I'm okay. I could probably have a conversation and cobble something together because I was quite good. I learnt more about English grammar than doing French and Spanish than I did about French. Because you just naturally put words together in English, don't you? And then you don't really think about it. No. Whereas when you actually drill down on grammar and what it actually means, you go, oh. That makes sense. You were going to do this. It's in like 3 different tenses.
Yeah,
and that's exactly. Whereas in English, we don't even think about it because we naturally just speak it.
Do it.
But my son is 15. Like, he's expressed some interest in becoming, and like he's looking at an electrician's apprenticeship.
Great.
So we're Portsmouth.
Yeah.
So he would go to Port Solent, and that's probably where he would end up looking.
Yeah.
I think he's too smart for it, to be honest with you. But then I also think, no, do a trade because you've got the experience. You can still, and you can go in, run your own business. You can.
So many options.
So many options. I know. Whereas what else is he going to do? He's good at maths. He's good at, but he is. I'm not being horrible, George, but you are quite lazy. And no, he is. He's very lazy, but he's also very driven. But he's also very driven to want money, like I was.
That's really
positive.
I
know, and I like that. And I think it takes me back to a sales job. It's an interview I had once, and he went to me, "What attracts you to the job?" It's like, "What drives you?" It's like, "Is it money?" And I went, "Well, yeah." I said, "Well, that's what I want to hear." Yeah, as a salesperson, as a sales manager, that's what they want to hear, is that you're attracted by money. Yeah, it is. And I always thought it was a bit crass. But actually, the more I think about it, the better it is. As long as you're doing it ethically and the right way forward.
Yeah.
But what advice would you give my son, like now at 15? He's a very, very smart kid. Like, I do Myers-Briggs personality theory. I know what personality type he is.
Cool.
Most likely to become a serial killer.
Fab.
Yeah, I know.
Exciting.
When I look at all the serial killers on thing and their personality, he is the most it's the most hyped.
If you need counselling, do reach out.
I've told him not to become a serial killer. That's about as much advice as I can give him. But if he, he's smart. He's not afraid about asking for what he wants.
That's amazing.
I think he's been, to be honest with him, between me and my ex-wife, we've brought him up quite well.
Yeah.
But I do worry. But what advice would you give him?
So I think it depends.
Or
on
us
the
as parents, I suppose.
As parents, I think there's a few things. We do a webinar probably a couple of times a year, and it's called "So Your Child Wants an Apprenticeship," and we go through lots of different bits, like what an apprenticeship is and all of that good stuff. I think there's a few things. I think
you'll have to send me the link so I can put them on the bottom.
Of course. There's a couple of things. Number one is really talk it through with them what they want to do, and don't be upset if they don't know, because that's actually really, really normal. And the other thing is, yes, they're leaving school. Yes, they're coming to the end of year 11. There is nothing wrong with doing a year 12 and 13. Almost everywhere else in the world, our children are one of the only ones that leave full-time education at 16. Most of them go to 18.
Yeah, exactly. You look at America, you look at everywhere else, it is 18.
It is 18. So,
but then it was like that for me. Like I felt, I just sort of coasted. My mum was a head teacher, so I grew up in education. She's a bit of a talker. She talks over everything, but that's fine. I feel like that balance has changed now, and we sort of understand each other. But my point is that when I was at school, you were naturally going to go and do A levels. Like I didn't really, I don't think anyone really understands why they're there. You're just indoctrinated into going into school, go in there, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. I don't think there's that part as parents where we educate people, but where has that changed through schooling?
I would love to say yeah, and then we've got a load of great schools in the area, and it's no disservice to them, but we've got
my son's at Portsmouth.
Okay. I don't know Portsmouth very well.
Oh, okay, well.
But there are.
They seem okay.
Most schools in our area. Do you know what? Oh God, this is an unpopular opinion. Regardless of what the Ofsted said, they're all trying to do the right thing by our kids. The thing that I say most frequently to kids is get your maths and English. I shouldn't probably say this publicly, and certainly not on a podcast. But if you're coming out with 2 GCSEs, make sure it's maths and English, because they're the ones that will follow you around. Unfortunately, rightly or wrongly, they will follow you around. So get those if you can.
Do you think that's not a bit of an outdate? Do people actually look at that on people's CVs at a young age and go, have they got basic maths and English?
Well, no, I'm with you. As for a job, no, probably not. But it will stop them getting into courses if they haven't got their maths and English. They will need to retake it.
It's crazy, isn't it? And they probably just know, and they'll probably just scrap out exams.
Yeah, and the problem is our national curriculum measures everyone by the same yardstick. So if you're an academic and you've got a really good memory, then you're going to smash your exams. Good for you. If
I did
you're
okay.
not,
I did enough to get by.
And that was me.
I did all right at French and Spanish.
Yeah.
But yes.
Done what I needed to do. But I'd say don't rule out anything. College is a good option. You should really look at those, and don't just look at A levels. Look at T levels, because that will give you a more vocational pathway with access to 1 day a week work experience. So just quickly before we finish,
what's the T level?
Technical A level.
And what would that class as?
So it's exactly the same level. So A levels level 3, T levels level 3.
What things does it encompass?
It can encompass things like health. It can encompass engineering. It can encompass construction. So there's a number of different T levels, but A levels is your academic route.
Yeah.
T levels is your more technical route. The difference with T levels is
20 years ago when we were at, or 25 years ago when we were at college and school, what would that equivalent have been? It'd be like a BTEC.
Yeah, like a BTEC. But with the T level, you do 45 days minimum work experience. So it makes you a lot more employable when you come to the end of that 2-year period. And you can either go on then to an accelerated apprenticeship. So you do an apprenticeship program but quicker. Or you can go, it's a university option. So, you're not closing any doors. If you're like, I know what I want to do. I want to be an electrician. I want to do an apprenticeship. I think there's a few things. Go and find an apprenticeship. That's really important. It's where most of the vacancies are. Speak to your local providers because they will also have vacancies that might not get on find an apprenticeship. For example, electrician would be City of Portsmouth College, and others. Steve Willis is another one.
I think that's in Portsmouth, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. The other thing, as parents, make sure they've got a decent CV. It is so important. And as a person who has recently gone through recruitment for a young person, there was so many awful ones. And the other thing I'd say is help them pull out their transferable skills. Because as a young person, you don't know what your transferable skills is. But let's say your son's played football for the last 10 years. He's a team player. He's got leadership skills. He's got communication skills. You need to, as their adult in their life.
He hasn't. But I mean,
If he
I
did.
would say he's. I don't know. How would I describe my son? And I think that's people
You know
again.
him best.
Yeah, no, of course. But like, I think as a parent, I mean, I don't have them full time, so.
Yeah.
But I think if you get so wrapped up that you don't invest that time, and I probably feel I'm probably guilty of not doing it, and I feel for my parents from 25 years ago to an extent where I think I mean my son will laugh and joke with my mum and me in front of me and say, "Wow, you still blame this and like you still blame your mum because she didn't want to do this." But I've asked my mum; she don't even remember me cooking, and I wanted to be a chef, and I'm thinking. Really? And I'm like, George will just take the piss out of me. And I'm like, but I try and involve them as much as possible. And I just try and teach them good morals. And I think.
Do you know what, though? I think the thing is, we make an assumption as parents that there is a certain amount of this going on at school. So I think we do sort of go, oh, I don't.
Whereas I think we forget, in reality, we didn't get it when we were at school. No. So let's face it.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to get it now, and you hope that it's just going to get better, but it probably doesn't.
Yeah, and I think it has got better since we were at school, but we still do need, just as a parent, you just need to sit down and have those conversations about however you pull those skills out. Any sort of work experience, even if it's voluntary with you, i.e., you're not paying them, it's good work experience. Anything they can get on that CV, because it's again. It used to be really easy to walk into a job when I was 16. You were falling, tripping over jobs. Yeah. It's not for them now. It's really blooming hard to get a job when you're 16.
Yeah, because it's saturated and more of us. So they've got to set themselves apart.
They really have.
So I guess the advice from everyone is set yourself apart.
Yeah, and come and talk to us if you're a business looking to grow.
100%. Thank you, Jodi. It's been really interesting. And I've learned a lot.
I hope that.
Everyone out there, but... Thank you once again for coming in. So if you don't know Jodi, add her on LinkedIn, Jodi Fair.
Yep.
Solent Growth Partnership. Look out. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
No worries. Take care now.